All right, latest on where the Pac-12 goes from here. Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports said the Pac-12 needs one more full member to reach FBS qualification. The expectation is that the league will explore media rights packages with its current 8 members before adding more schools at a later date. No serious negotiations currently happening per those with knowledge. Bum, bum, bum. Sounds familiar. We've seen this before. We've seen this before.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was the Pac-12 wasn't going to add Gonzaga, remember? And then that happened.
Well, no, this was exactly what the Pac-12 said right after Colorado left for the Big 12. And they said, nope, we're going to go and add more teams we're going to go add our TV deal before we go and add any more teams. We're not going to do we're going to go and get the media rights.
Yeah.
And then everybody else left.
Yeah, I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Well, they are saying that this one is only going to be a matter of weeks. I think they just want to get an assessment, which is kind of have the workup done by the networks to say, hey, if you have these teams right now, this is your valuation. If you add X, Y, Z, or X or Y or Z, depending on all the machinations, here's what we would give you, which is a nice roundabout way of saying, if you add UNLV and or Memphis, this is what this looked like.
Yeah, Memphis ain't coming, if you heard their AD.
Well,
I mean, he said bad deal.
From some other reporting, it does sound like Memphis was basically trying to play a power hand of like the same way that the Mountain West got some affirmations from the Air Force and getting a little bit more money. Memphis is trying to leverage that either out of the Pac-12 or the AC.
Well, yeah.
Which again, talking about the survival of the fittest stuff, that's what this is.
It's going to have to be substantial for Memphis, though.
Probably a full share.
Well, no. Anybody that's joining is going to be a full. No, it'd have to be over the top because they have the longest travel of any team in the conference at that point. And it does not make sense for them to do that. Think about for every other sport, it does not make sense. Because the money isn't what the Power 4 conferences are giving. And the travel is going to be what you are seeing from, the West Coast schools that got to go to the Big 10 or the Big 12, right? You have expansive travel now, but you're not going to be getting $30+ million, $50+ million. And this isn't just about football. This is about basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball. It is every single sport that you're going to have to travel for. Tennis, golf. Like, you don't have the budgets for that when you're not getting the $30 million, the $50 million. Yeah. And they are not a cash flush university like, I don't know, Stanford. Where even at
$34 billion endowment.
Yeah, where you're even running at a deficit or at a partial share. Cal's running at a deficit.
Yeah.
But even at a partial share, you can afford to go and do those things. So that will be really interesting with Memphis. Is their AD was a bad deal. We're not going to take a bad deal. Yeah, if you're trying to sweeten it and get more money out of the Pac-12, yeah, you're going to do it. And you're going to squeeze everybody. And you're going to try to get, and you're trying to get an unfair amount because it is unfair the amount of travel you're going to have to do comparative to everybody else who's out here in the West Coast. So I think this is actually a smart play by the Pac-12 to go out and say, all right, we've got our whale. They got their whale in expansion. It's Gonzaga basketball. Now you can go to ESPN, CBS, Fox, and you can say, we have got Gonzaga, which has been to multiple Final Fours, has played for national championships. We have San Diego State, which has been to Final Four, played in a national championship game recently, a couple of years ago.
Based on the Ken Pom and a bunch of the other advanced ratings, the Pac-12 the Pac, as it's currently constituted, is a better basketball conference than they were previously.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you can go and now that you have your whale, you can go and say, this is what we have to offer you. And is it going to be a massive deal? Nope, it won't be, especially when you're giving Gonzaga a full share for not playing football too. But it does sweeten the pot a little bit. And then you go into the negotiations, just like you said. All right, what does this annual payout mean if we get UNLV? What does it mean if we get Memphis?
I mean, you had UNLV and Memphis, you become like an incredibly good basketball conference.
You absolutely
like
do.
Not even like an okay, like you are an incredibly good
and
basketball
we talked
conference.
about this yesterday, but they're moving towards the Big East model, which is we are farming our land on the basketball court, and Big East doesn't have football
at all.
No, UConn,
yeah,
which plays independent, but and oh, by the way, UConn said no. We didn't go to the Big 12. We're not going to the Pac-12. But you're saying we are a basketball conference, and then what they do have that the Big East doesn't is most of your member institutions do have football programs that you can sit there and you can say, look, we give you inventory in the fall too, and you're going to need inventory in the fall. Now, they may go down a road where, and this is, fans aren't going to like this, but you may be playing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night football.
You might be going action
often. But you know what?
You're alive, you're thriving.
And it's going to get you more money. It will get you more money.
Which maybe gets you an opportunity in that weird college football pro league.
Yeah, which I'm so here for.
I mean, it's where we're going. I'm glad somebody did it. I'm glad somebody put pen to paper and were like, yeah, here's the college football pro league.
Yeah. Bingo.
And then, how they go about dividing that is going to be super interesting because we joked off air last week, the whole Oregon State beating Purdue like a drum. That should have been Oregon State's chance to play for a spot in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Like promotion relegation. Let's go.
I mean, Oregon State is clearly a significantly better program than Purdue. And yet Purdue gets to survive because of where they live.
Yeah.
That's the literal only defining factor.
Not even where they live, like where they got in early.
Yeah. But that was only because
got in on the ground floor.
Because they were there geographically. That's where they were.
Yeah. I mean, it's the dadgummest thing right now.
Which I think that pro league, or amateur pro league, college pro league, whatever the hell you want to call it. What was it? CSFL? CFSL?
Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, it was something weird like that.
I don't like that.
Yeah. They need to workshop that.
Yep.
But like how they go about doing that. Does that get rid of the Purdues and Vanderbilts of the world? And does that uplift the Oregon States and Washington States of the world?
I hope it does, man. I hope it does because, look, Oregon State, we mentioned this yesterday with Indiana. Kirk Cignetti was right. They're 5-0. But heading into this year, Oregon State had more of a right with their football program over the last 20 years to play in a Power 4 conference than Indiana ever had.
Absolutely.
I mean, ever. This is the best start that Indiana football's had since 1967. Right?
Turns out that dude's a pretty damn good coach.
He is.
Useful.
Hot useful. Also note, today is the day.
Of?